Good evening, everyone. I really stopped counting the number of times that when I've had discussions with Christians, and many of them are really good people, don't get me wrong now. They believe what they believe is true. I understand that. But I stopped counting the number of times when I've had discussions with Christians and you're trying to be reasonable and logical and scriptural. And when they don't have an answer or they feel that their backs are up against the wall, a byline that they often use is, well, you are taking this out of context. Now, as I was leaving the house a few moments ago, this was on the outside of my door. I don't know if you can see this. Okay. And it says there that the truth will set you free. And on the back of it, there's something here about Halloween, and there's some evangelist that's going to be giving some type of sermon about this. Now, I am in agreement that Halloween is something that no follower of Christ should be involved in, but then again, Christmas either, because December 25th is not Jesus' birthday. And I'm going to do a video on all of that before December 25th comes along. But my point with this here, the truth will set you free. Now, this is one of many examples where we have a Christian organization, a Christian evangelist, taking something out of context, where they will be the first ones to accuse you of doing that. The truth will set you free. And many people, they read that, and these are individuals who don't have a whole lot of knowledge about Christ's teachings. And so when they see this expression, the truth will set you free, it's easy to be lured into believing that once you become a Christian, you will know the truth and the truth will set you free, and that Christians teach the truth. Well, this is deceptive, and Christianity delves in lots of deception, deflection, and not telling the whole story. The truth will set you free. If you go to John chapter 8, verse 31 and 32, we have a setting there where Jesus is talking to his own countrymen, the Jews. And if you take that entire scenario or passage in context, it goes something like this. Jesus says this: to the Jews who had believed him and who would cling to his teachings, you are really my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So here's the context, folks. Jesus is talking to the Jews because he says, to the Jews who had believed him and who would cling to his teachings are really his disciples, and they would know the truth, and the truth would set them free. But see how many Christians spin this? I maintain that Christians are incapable of telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth. They will, however, speak truthful things, but they will not tell the whole truth. There's a difference there. If you are unwilling and are incapable of teaching the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, then your worship and following of Christ is in vain, because you're not telling the whole story. You're showing people this: the truth will set you free. You know that those who read that don't know. You're playing on their ignorance, that is, their not knowing. And that is something that Christians are masters of. I would venture to say that 99.9% of these preachers that you see on the pulpit, and you see them on YouTube also, they bank on the ignorance of those that they're speaking to. They know that those persons out there don't know. So they can say anything to those persons, those innocent people. And those persons are sitting out there nodding in affirmation and clapping their hands and praising that preacher up there, and he's gloating in all that admiration and praise that he's receiving. None of it's going to God. It's all going to him or her. But I maintain that Christians are incapable of telling the whole truth. Like I just showed you, if you read the context there at John chapter 8, verse 31 and 32, Jesus was talking to his own countrymen, to the Jews. And what is it that the Jews would be set free from? Understand that the Jews were bound by the law covenant. Many call it the law of Moses. It's not really the law of Moses. It's the law covenant. Moses was the mediator of that covenant between ancient Israel and God. So that the Jews were bound by that old law, a law that they could not keep, Jesus fulfilled it in their behalf. That's why Jesus would say that I didn't come to abolish the law. I came to fulfill it. Fulfill, what does that mean? To finish it. Jesus fulfilled the law in their behalf. Yet the Pharisees and Sadducees and the scribes were all teaching that the Jews back then were to still keep that law. The 10 Commandments, incidentally, being the first 10 of some 600 laws. Jesus fulfilled that law in their behalf. So he's telling those Jews who would listen to him and who believed him, believed his teachings, that if you believe my teachings, then you are really my disciples. Now you become my disciples. You're not disciples no longer of these Sadducees and Pharisees, but you're now my disciples. And that you are now my disciples, you will now know the truth. And the truth will set you free. Free from what? Free from keeping that old burdensome law that you were not able to keep. That's what Jesus was talking about. But these Christians, they don't tell that. They don't spin the story truthfully. They will use this byline to lure people in, to deceive them. So if any Christian or anyone else says to you, the truth will set you free, impress upon them to tell the rest of that story at John chapter 8, verse 31 and 32.